At the BRICS summit, with the absence of Chinese and Russian leaders, Modi appeared to take center stage. Indian media enthusiastically boasted that Modi stood beside Brazilian President Lula, occupying the central position to celebrate the friendship between the two countries. However, their cooperation seems less than smooth, as Brazil has suspended imports of India's Akash air defense system. Brazil's assessment found the version offered by India too outdated, lacking critical features like a data link and having poor accuracy. Indian netizens disagree, claiming the Akash performed well in conflicts like those between Armenia and Azerbaijan and in India-Pakistan clashes, and they believe Brazil's decision reflects bias against Indian weapons systems. To be honest, watching China sell weapons globally while projecting the demeanor of a major power is impressive. As the world's largest democracy, a developed nation by 2047, and a steadfast U.S. ally, the Indian Empire also seeks to strengthen diplomatic ties through arms sales. If China can do it, the Indian Empire naturally believes it can too. However, as the world's third military power, which was defeated 6-0 by Pakistan in air combat, collapsed instantly in hand-to-hand cold weapon conflicts, and surrendered en masse to the Chinese People's Liberation Army, are India's weapons truly as powerful as they claim? The answer is obvious. India's announced combat achievements are unverifiable, and the world knows that Rafale and Su-30 fighters were shot down by J-10s. India initially denied it vehemently, but media reports forced them to admit it, though they refused to disclose the number of losses, displaying astonishing audacity. As for Indian netizens' claims that Indian weapons performed excellently in the Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict, that is nonsense. Armenia was thoroughly defeated by Azerbaijan, losing vast territories and being forced to surrender, which is the consequence of using Indian weapons systems. Beyond losing the entire Nagorno-Karabakh region, Armenia suffered about 4,000 soldiers killed, with tens of thousands of civilians fleeing as refugees, and its national pride was severely damaged. So, how much does Armenia trust India? It is the only country in history to extensively equip Indian weapons, purchasing not only the Akash missile system, but also the Pinaka multi-barrel rocket system, the 155mm Advanced Towed Artillery Gun System (ATAGS), the ZADS anti-drone system, the Conquer's anti-tank missile, the Svati counter-battery radar, the Dornier Tu-28 reconnaissance aircraft, various ammunition and mortars, body armor, night vision devices, and small arms. I think I bear some responsibility for Armenia's defeat. If I had made English videos earlier, perhaps YouTube would have recommended them to Armenia's leaders. I believe that after watching just 2 or 3 videos, they wouldn't have been foolish enough to buy the Indian Empire's industrial junk. In contrast, Rwanda, equipped with Chinese weapons systems and even conducting military drills with Chinese commands, has risen from a war-torn, severely underdeveloped country to a regional military power. Facing the much larger Democratic Republic of Congo, Rwanda's army has achieved overwhelming dominance in conflicts. China's staunch ally, Pakistan, has also used Chinese weapons systems to decisively teach the boastful Indian Empire a lesson, greatly enhancing its international status. Thus, while the Indian Empire loves to compare itself to China, it is repeatedly slapped in the face by reality. I believe Brazilians are not foolish. Their cooperation with India was merely to have Modi attend the Brazil-hosted BRICS summit. Once the summit ended, they had no intention of importing India's industrial junk. After all, countries like Armenia and the Philippines are rare. Speaking of the Philippines, another military power that purchased BrahMos missiles, its navy cannot even defeat China's Coast Guard, but is remarkably bold, willingly acting as the U.S.'s proxy to provoke China, making it a perfect match for India. Speaking of the Indian Empire's military exports, we must mention a story I shared before, a tragic one. In November 2008, Ecuador signed a contract with Hindustan Aeronautics Limited to purchase 7 multi-role helicopters for $45.2 million, one of which was for presidential use. After delivery, for crashed, and Ecuador dared not use the remaining 3. They requested a refund, which India rejected, and no one would buy the helicopters when offered for resale, leaving them in storage. I sympathize with Ecuador's plight, but must criticize their arrogance. What qualifies them to use the Indian Kowdung Empire's weapons? Does Ecuador have India's vast population? Since its founding, the Indian Air Force has crashed thousands of aircraft in non-combat situations. Indian pilots have excellent parachuting skills, and even if they die, India has plenty of people to replace them. Can Ecuador, like the Indian Empire, continuously replenish pilots? Haven't they heard of Hindustan Aeronautics Limited's infamous nickname, the Widowmaker? Regarding Azerbaijan, it's worth noting that before the war, Azerbaijan purchased the KRL-122 multi-barrel rocket system from Pakistan. Though it lacks the Indian Empire's various impressive parameter claims, it performed excellently in mountain combat in Nagorno-Karabakh, earning high praise from Azerbaijan for Pakistan's weapons. Later, Azerbaijan signed a contract with Pakistan to import JF-17S at a high price. Yes, the Indian Empire constantly boasts of its rich combat experience and battle-tested weapons. In reality, the Indian Empire has extensive experience being defeated, with its weapons serving as practice targets for enemies. Consider this: Pakistan's J-10C crushed the entire Indian Air Force, and soon they will receive J-35S, turning India's airspace into Pakistan's training ground. Pakistan seizes every opportunity to strike India hard, then shares combat data with Chinese manufacturers to secure discounts, practically getting weapons at half price or even turning a profit. So, Pakistanis should truly say to the Indian Empire, "Thank you." Thus, I say Brazilians know better. They can boast with the Indian Empire, but they absolutely won't cooperate or befriend it. Look at Armenia's tragic fate and Iran's betrayal. You should not only reject India's weapons systems, but also thoroughly check for Indian spies in your country to see if any are working for the US. After all, Iran arrested numerous Indians spying for Mossad, and India is Iran's strategic partner. If Brazil actually bought Indian weapons, its defense information might become transparent to the US.